Good morning, class. Today we are talking about mastering your shutter speed. Oh shoot, where is everyone? Oh, Barris.
Am I in the right spot?
Yeah, we're learning about camera shutter speed. Are you ready?
Yes, Ryan, it's this way.
All right, let's go.
Yeah. Once again, here we go. Know the name, know the flow. Turn me up a little more. I'm setting traps, I'm alone. You know you whack, I'm a maniac. Boy, you know I'm black to the bone. Pick a place, pick a date. I go cool, pick a low.
In this video, I'll be sharing how to master the shutter speed of your camera. We'll talk about how to choose the correct shutter speed, fast shutter, slow shutter, and even long exposure shutter effects that you can use to get creative with your photography.
When it all goes down, I'ma run this town.
There's a good chance you've probably heard of the 2 times shutter rule. Have you heard of the 2 times shutter rule?
Yes, I did.
Should we tell everyone at home about the 2 times shutter rule?
Maybe we should.
Do you know, so basically what it is it's your shutter speed is proportional to the focal length that you're shooting at. So if you're shooting at 70 millimeters, multiply it by 2 to get 140, and then do 1 over 140. So it's like 1 over 2 times your shutter speed. Now if you're zooming in to 200, now all of a sudden it's 1 over 2 times 200, 1 over 400. And you do this because the more zoomed in you are, the more the camera shake becomes apparent. But sometimes that's not the best decision to make depending on the creative look that you're going for.
When you're a new photographer, the 2 times shutter rule is the fastest way to get a good looking photo. But sometimes, even if you follow that rule, your photos can still end up looking a little bit blurry or a little bit not sharp. So another tip that I like to follow is to brace your camera or brace yourself. So bring in your arms, even add additional points of contact. So some photographers like to use the viewfinder simply because it adds an extra level of stability. And if you want to see more tips on how to get sharper looking photos, I'll link a video at the end of this one that you might want to check out. The other thing you want to do is match the speed of the subject that you're shooting. So even if you use the 2 times shutter rule and you're trying to shoot a speeding bullet or a race car or a really fast runner, sometimes that won't be fast enough. So don't be afraid to test your shutter speed and then make it even faster if you're still getting a little bit of blurriness. Fast shutters are good for bright sunny conditions, for fast moving objects, and for those super telephoto lenses, or even just something like this 70 to 200, which zooms in to 200. Having a 1 over 400 or 1 over 500 shutter speed will help stabilize your photos when shooting on a lens like this. But there is a catch to that because sometimes you don't want a super fast shutter speed, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
So you might be wondering what the heck why are we filming, what's going on here? So today we're doing, it's event photography. My friend Sean runs these MilSim airsoft events, so everyone gets to jump in and out of helicopters all day. Actually, Sean, come say hi to camera.
Hello.
Hi, Sean. Ryan, who is right here, and is there a helicopter boy running around in the background somewhere? Look at that, so fancy. But the idea is that this is run and gun photography, and one of the most important settings when you're shooting moving things, when you're moving, is shutter speed. So that's why it makes sense to talk about shutter in a context like this, where we have guys running, we have helicopters moving, and if you don't know what the proper shutter speed is, what can happen is your photos can look not sharp or look out of focus. So we're gonna keep shooting, and I'll put more examples on screen as we go.
Pictures of me taking pictures, Anthony?
I'm taking pictures of you.
I love it.
Taking pictures. Barris is taking pictures of you.
Hi, taking pictures of the person that is taking a picture.
Pictures, exactly. It's
This is-
amazing.
You are
I love-
videoing the person that is taking pictures.
I'm videoing the picture taking.
Which are pictures
of the picture.
of pictures, yeah, right.
The Uber is ready. Are you ready to go on it?
I think our Uber is ready. Uber Black is here. What do you think?
Yeah, 5-star rating. I tell you.
Five-star rating. You want to split? I think there's like a ride split feature.
Yeah, we can split it. Yeah.
On Uber. Should we go on one, or should you go on one and I go on the other?
I'll go on the other one.
Okay.
But we have to rate them though. They can't be too rough on us.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, you'll see.
As you shoot in more challenging lighting conditions, you might find that a super fast shutter speed doesn't work. And so you end up choosing slower shutter speeds like 1/100, 1/50, or even 1/10. Now, when we get down to those slower shutter speeds, it becomes more difficult to hand hold your camera because more of that camera shake, more of that motion blur is going to be introduced. A slower shutter speed, which lets more light in, is good for darker conditions or slower moving objects. It's also good if you have a lens that is a wide angle lens. So right now this is a 24-70. Now at 70, I'd probably want to shoot at a faster shutter speed, but if I go to my wide angle 24, I can probably slow that down and still get a decent handheld exposure at 1/20 or 1/10 because most cameras and lenses have some pretty good image stabilization or in-body image stabilization. So make sure you're testing the combination of your focal length and your shutter speed. But what if you want a slow shutter speed? What if you're trying to create a unique look or a creative effect? So I mentioned there was a catch that sometimes we don't want those fast shutter speeds. So a slow shutter speed is good for slow moving subjects, but also fast moving subjects if we do something like panning where we're actually following the motion and the speed of the subject that we're shooting. You see this a lot in action sports or in motorsports photography where they're trying to get that blurry background effect. And the only way you can do that is if you're choosing a slower shutter speed, like 1/50 or 1/20. But that does take quite a bit of practice to get right. And sometimes it even requires some extra equipment, but we'll talk about that in just a bit.
Hey Ryan,
Yeah,
what do you know about shutter speed and shooting helicopters?
I want to make it look like it's moving. I'm gonna go shoot one right now.
You're gonna go shoot, okay, well let me tell you. So we just shot this helicopter, and if you shoot it at like 1/400, it'll look like it's just kind of floating in space. So you wanna shoot it at like 1/125, so it looks like the helicopter blades are moving. So I'm gonna go shoot this one right now.
If you're trying to master your shutter speed, the best thing you can do is actually test the settings that you plan to use. In this example, I started with a fast shutter speed of 1/500, but really couldn't notice any of the motion. So I gradually slowed it down to 1/200 and then 1/160, which started to look more like what I was hoping for. You might be tempted to go lower, but with a smaller dual blade helicopter, the blades start to disappear pretty quick. Now, I also shot this photo and found that because I was shooting closer to the helicopter with a wide angle lens, the motion was much more exaggerated. And so I actually needed to raise my shutter back up to 1/250. So always make sure to try some test shots with both the lens and the focal length that you plan to shoot with. Photos turning out?
They're pretty cool. I got, got some good ones.
Not too bad?
Not too bad. It's hard with the sun though. It's like
look
you're
at
either
that.
overexposed or not. Yeah, I was trying to get like a little sun in there, you know.
Sweet. What's that, 70 millimeters?
Yeah, this is 75, 2.8.
It's just the media crew here. Barris over there. Where's Eddie? Eddie?
Let's see.
Ryan, what do you mean you didn't get any good photos? Look at that.
That's pretty good, right?
Look at that. Look at the, are the blades on it nice and blurred?
Yep, they are. But for this one, we have to go a little faster because the little blades on the small plane spin quite a lot faster. So this, I think, was 1/400 or 500.
1/400 just to get it looking a little like little bit of blur.
Yep. There we go.
Long exposures are the extreme version of slow shutter speed. So once you get to 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, you do require extra equipment. Now, in my case, this is the tripod that I tend to bring with me most of the time. It's a travel tripod. I'll link this down in the description below. Some photographers, depending on what you're shooting, might actually choose a monopod. Or if you know you have the ability to bring a nice, sturdy, rugged tripod with you, this is a Manfrotto tripod with fewer leg segments. So the fewer leg segments, the thicker the legs, all that type of stuff, the more stable your photos will be. Long exposure effects are great for astrophotography. They're great for daytime photography if you're doing a time lapse with an ND filter and you're trying to get motion showing inside of your photos. Or sometimes you see those light trail photos where they're shooting at night or even during the day and you have cars driving by or someone is holding a flashlight and you're doing that light painting effect. Or you can even do fine art photography where you do this really long exposure in the middle of the day and you capture the movement of clouds. So if you don't already have a tripod and an ND filter, those are two things I would highly recommend if you're looking at long exposure photography.
Set me free and give me death, there ain't no other choices. When I lay down to go to sleep, I keep on hearing voices. Little whispers in my head, man, is you fake or loyal? Why no water, that designer, baby, pick your poison. Here we come.
All right, shutter speed.
What's up, YouTubers?
What's up?
It's time for
What's up, YouTube? We're here in the desert. All around me to the left, you can see the gravel pits. Show them the gravel.
the gravel pits of North York.
We are shooting on, actually, what are you shooting on?
Today I got a, I actually got a 35 to 16.
We just shot some photos out of the helicopter. There were two strategies when it came to shutter speed. One is like freezing the motion.
Yep.
So what shutter settings were you at?
I'm actually right now at 1/160.
1/160, and that's the number that we determined earlier was kind of like that sweet spot. Not too much where the blades just completely wash out. That's where the 2x focal length can kind of get in the way, and it helps to know the speed of your subject and the speed, in our case, because we're moving in the helicopters, it's like,
It's pretty quick.
What do I want to get?
Yep,
Do I want the background to be blurry? Do I want it to be sharp? I think I found the same. It was like 1/200 or less, but again, that's gonna depend on your subject. Now, if you're shooting run and gun photography and you want everything to be sharp and you're out shooting in sunny conditions, obviously you can shoot it at 1/400. Some of the guys that are gonna be landing out of the helicopters in just a minute are gonna be moving pretty fast. Or
Yeah, I use 1/400 for them.
some of them. Eddie, what do you think?
I'm shooting at 1/4000 at f2, baby.
Some of us don't want to carry around bricks.
Yeah, he brought a cannon.
So I brought a cannon, but Eddie brought a literal
cannon.
Shout
There's no
out to-
birds we're shooting today, but you know, Eddie's deciding everything's a bird.
That's it. And
And I'm shooting wide-angle Instagram bangers. I'm shooting my iPhone out of a helicopter. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Isn't it time for the destined, time for the restless? Everybody's getting on the guest list. Our sign says not to be messed with, not to be tested. Together we will never be bested. We got the numbers, we got the numbers, we got numbers now.
Ryan, what's that you got there?
So I have here, I'm trying to keep it quiet because they're they're like in a stealthy part of the game, but I have here a thermal camera.
Oh yeah.
And I want to see how thermally visible they are.
Can we record it? Can people see home see it?
Oh yeah, let's put it up right
Oh,
now.
let's do it.
Oh yeah, there's a few dudes there.
How much one of those things cost? Can I like get that at Walmart or what's the deal?
You can buy one. They're around $6,000, so they're not very cheap, but this is a military grade, so it's pretty expensive and really rugged for what it is.
So what you're saying is that I'd have to like trade my whole camera and lens.
Yeah,
Just for that?
Totally. But it's it's pretty
know.
specialized. So
What's the shutter speed on that one?
it shoots 50 hertz. So
50 hertz?
I don't know what the equivalent of that is in shutter speed.
That's like all the gaming guys at home are like, oh, that's
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
pretty
for those
low.
standards.
They're like, well, I need 120 at least.
But by thermal standards, that's really good.
Oh,
Normally
nice.
most thermals are like 5
Maybe-
or 15.
Maybe I'll think about buying one, but for now, you get the footage on screen. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. Yo, check out this angle. So we just the first set of helicopters came in. The next set is coming back, but look at this. We got foreground, subject, and then the helicopter's gonna land right here. This is my third time shooting photos of helicopters, thanks to Sean and the amazing events he puts on. Each time it teaches me something new and brings me one step closer to mastering the shutter speed of my camera. Now, sadly, not every photo adventure can include helicopters or a full section of geared up guys, but I can already say that this isn't the last time we'll be doing something like this. "90% of the time when I'm shooting, I don't set my shutter speed. I actually put my camera into either aperture priority and let the camera decide, or sometimes I'll put it into manual, set all my other settings, and then the shutter speed is the last thing that I'm setting. Of course, this completely depends on the type of photography that you're doing or the creative look that you're going for. Now, if you're looking for more tips on how to level up your photography, I'd actually recommend either of these videos right here. But more importantly than anything I've said, you actually need to get out and shoot with your camera. So until the next one, grab your camera, get out, and go shoot photos.